Alright, so now we'll get into how to download and set everything up. So it might be a little tricky at first, but I'll walk you through everything you need to know, and we'll get started on the main page. So if you just Google Python, you should get to python.org. This is their main site, and you'll have everything you need here. So what we'll do is we'll go to downloads, and you'll see all releases and broken down by specific platforms and things like that. So we're just going to click generally on downloads here, and then we're going to go to Windows because that's what I have right now, and then you get led to this nice downloads page. So as you see here, we have two options. If you scroll down, you'll actually see every single version of Python ever created. So if you need a very specific version, you can download that. And it goes all the way back to 2001, even though Python 1 actually started before then. So that is no longer available. Alright, if you scroll all the way back up to the top, we're going to go with version 3.54. In general, it is very bad practice to always go with the absolute newest release. So the newest release is obviously the best language because it's been updated, but then again, it also has a lot of bugs that might be problematic to your programming. So we're going to start with 3.54. So 3.5 is often used with many other technologies and is the most supported. So like I said, you don't want to go with the newest. You want to go with a few languages back because it'll give you the most tools later on. A lot of times if you make a new language, other tools are not automatically updated to this language, so there are changes that you need to make. So updating to the brand new version might actually break some of your other programs. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to click on Python 3.5.4, and in a few seconds you should get the download here. So if you scroll down, you get all the notes, you have all the files here. And now this is based entirely on what you're using. So I'm using a Windows computer, so you want to pick x86 or x86-64. If you have Linux, you would then download it through the Linux terminal or using a install package such as apt-get. If you have Mac, you have the Mac installer here, but we'll focus on Windows, and you can always check if it's 64 or not. There's also a little bit of description here, but for now we're just going to click the generic 86 executable installer, so that'll start downloading now. So once you start downloading this, we'll see that there's a few key things that you want to do. I already have Python downloaded, so I'm not going to go through the whole downloading process to save you some time. But the most important thing you need to do is there's a little checkbox at the bottom when you first get the installer open that says Add Python to Path. And you need to make sure you click that because it'll automatically add Python to your system variables. And that allows you to reference everything properly, and your computer will know what to do and where to do it. So that's something you won't have to do yourself, and it makes it a lot easier on you if you just click that little checkbox. If you don't, that's fine. You can always find out how to add it to the path separately via Google, but it's probably best just to do it now. So what happens when you download? It might seem like you don't actually have anything, but if you type in Python, you'll see that you got this little Python shell. It's called Python idle. If you type in Python here, you'll see idle 3.5 32-bit. And what this is actually where you can code. It automatically gives you a little bit, this little editor, and you can type in lines one by one. So I know you may not know how to program yet, but I'll just quickly type that in to show that it automatically works line by line there. And we'll take a look at that later. So what I'll go into a little bit later on is seeing what you want to use. If you want to use a text editor or if you want to use this idle shell. For things that are very simple, for instance 3 plus 3, it'll automatically do the result there. If you want to, however, write a bigger program, you're going to need a text editor and a command line prompt or terminal. So I'll go into all that now. Don't worry about it. For now, you've successfully uploaded that, and it's working for you there. So just type in any command, try to do 1 plus 2. Obviously that should be 3, so you can make sure it's working there. So the other things I mentioned are text-based text editor. So in my case, I use Sublime Text 3, which you can see here. And Cygwin is the terminal for Windows. So both these links are available in the additional notes. You don't have to use what I'm using now. These are just my preferred tools, and they work very well for Windows. If you're using Linux, for instance, the terminal will already be built in, and there's already a text editor as well. So some of these things are saved with Linux, but most people do not have Linux OS, and you can easily download these additional tools. Another tip, if you're trying to run in your Cygwin, is, as mentioned in the comments, is try Python or Python-i in the command line to see if it works. So if you see here, we do Python-i, Python-i, and you'll automatically get the same thing. You can do 1 plus 2, and you get 3. So I'll get a little bit more into that as we move along.